Nothing like a fall football Saturday in Laramie. The 4-1 Wyoming Cowboys hosting 4-2 Fresno State, a crucial conference game for both teams at War Memorial Stadium, and it is a perfect day for football in the low 50s. Welcome inside, everybody. Dan Helly alongside Petros Papadakis, and for Fresno State, knocked out of the top 25 after that loss to Hawaii go. Quarterback Jake Haener, the healthiest he has been since week 3, one of the most prolific QBs in the country.
He's inspirational. I mean, we love to watch this guy play because he wills his team to victory. Now, he's been pretty beat up this year. We saw him with a great comeback against UCLA. Didn't work so well in Hawaii in a tough environment. He's had the bye week to nurture those legs, and this is going to be a very difficult, very disciplined task to take on this Wyoming defense in Laramie.
Speaking of that defense, always stingy, especially in the last 7 or 8 years, led by this guy, middle linebacker Chad Moma.
I really love his style because he's a mechanical engineer as a major, and that's kind of how he tackles. He's very mechanical. He works angles. He's great communication-wise with his defense, but he's split high, and he's got kind of a tight end look to him. He can pick it and take it to the house as well. I love the matchup.
Led the Mountain West in tackles last year, second this year. It's Wyoming, and that defense taking on the high-flying offense of Fresno State, and it's all coming up at War Memorial Stadium in Laramie. Let's go. Welcome back to Laramie. Kickoff coming up here in just a couple of minutes. I mentioned the weather. It is a gorgeous day for football at War Memorial Stadium. 57 degrees, light wind coming out of the southwest. Just sounded good, Petros. I don't know. And there's look at Craig Bohl in his 8th season as the head coach at Wyoming. Built a heck of a program at North Dakota State, and trying to do the same thing here at Wyoming. So far, so good.
Kind of the same, little bit of a microcosm program. Same with North Dakota State, same with Kansas State, where Coach Kleiman is. Really disciplined defense, attention to detail, running the ball. And Kalen DeBoer, he seems like the same type of coach that just fits the personality of the Fresno State program as well. And he's had a great little run at the beginning of this year. It's gotten some people excited in the Valley.
That he has his second season in California's Central Valley with a tough test here against Wyoming. Wyoming won the toss. They deferred, so Fresno will receive the kick. Here to get things started at War Memorial Stadium in Laramie. Early afternoon Mountain West football. Could be kind of an elimination game in terms of playing for the conference title. These two teams both came into the season hoping to be there.
And it's a big moment for Fresno. You know, they've had a bye week, but just a very disappointing loss in Honolulu. And now they're on the road again in a tough environment. How will they respond?
John Hoyland to kick off. Jordan Mims is deep. That is through the end zone as we will get our first look at this Fresno State offense and Jake Haener, who is 3rd in passing yards in FBS and 5th with 18 touchdown passes. Been one of the most prolific quarterbacks in college football this year.
Fun to watch, and a great leader, and his size is that more of a Drew Brees as opposed to a Josh Allen. We'll talk about a little bit as the afternoon goes on. A great Wyoming alum, of course. Man, he's got a lot of heart. He wills it.
Ronnie Rivers with the first carry of the game for Fresno, trying to get him more involved. He has been one of the better running backs in the conference the last few years. And the offensive line shaking things up just a little bit here, Petros.
And they want to run the ball a little bit better, so they've made some moves with their guards. Ronnie Rivers is really their bell cow. You're going to see him run the ball a lot. Then Jalen Cropper, Josh Kelly, really good receivers on the edge. You expect those explosive perimeter players for the Bulldogs every year.
Second and 9 for Haener. This is Cropper. Maybe half a yard before he is hit hard and sent out of bounds right away. This Wyoming defense, oh so stingy.
They're really disciplined on every level, and that is how they play it. They play hard. You see the guys up front there, the ends are very big and rangy. We talked about MoMA and what he can do. He's got great communication with East and Gibbs, and on the back end, they're pretty physical as well.
So 3rd and 10 coming up for Jake Haener in this Bulldog offense. Ronnie Rivers in the backfield. Haener with time and unable to complete the pass, looking for Haener, broken up by Blankenbaker. That's Keon Blankenbaker playing nickel for the Cowboys.
Haener tried to drop it in to Cropper, and he had to get it over the head of Chad MoMA, the great and very tall 6'3" for a Mike linebacker, and he got it over MoMA, but then that ball just kind of dropped in front of Cropper. Nice stand to start the game by the Cowboys, and now they'll get the ball in the second half and no damage with the deferral.
Aiden Eberhardt back to return the Carson King punt. And he is content to let that bounce, rolls out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. And it was a struggle last week for this Wyoming offense. Quarterbacked by Sean Chambers. 13-4 as a starter for Wyoming, but he has had season-ending injuries 3 years in a row in Laramie.
He's been snake bit. There's no doubt about that. An interesting thing about him is he's from the San Joaquin Valley, where Fresno State does most of their recruiting. Came from Kerman, California, a Kerman Lion. And Coach Bowl dipped into the valley and pulled him out like a radish.
Xavier Valladay dotting the I formation for the Cowboys right up the middle, and nothing going. That Fresno defensive line holding strong. Take a look at this Wyoming offense, and they will try to run the ball on that offensive line. 4 senior starters, 137 combined starts for this crew, and Xavier Valladay has been one of the better running backs in the Mountain West Conference the last few years. In terms of the receiving core, Isaiah Nayor, one you want to keep your eye on, number 5. Ball's on the ground, ball's down. Fresno State recovers. Looks like Elijah Gates, the strong safety, hopped on it, and what a big break this is for the Bulldogs early in the first.
Bad luck for Wyoming. I think they called a play to pull this ball and have Chambers run it himself so there wouldn't be a fumble. They didn't really have a mesh. That was a fake, and Chambers, trying to get him on a quick hitting quarterback run play, just loses that ball in the contact zone. And a nice heads-up play by Gates to come up with it, and new life for the Fresno offense, who showed us very little on their first drive.
So here's Fresno now, 1st and 10 from the 41. They're going to keep it on the ground with Rivers. And Rivers is met right away. Who else? That's Chad MoMA. Led the conference in tackles last year, 2nd this year. You mentioned it. A high-level engineering student, and Coach told us, Craig Bowl says, he plays just like that. Second and 8. Rivers trying to find some room, has a hole, cuts it back up inside, down to the 31-yard line.
They run the same play twice there, and this time Rivers is able to come through. And MoMA's a little late to the play. As you can see, he dropped deep looking for his zone, but basically the same play that Fresno called on first down, and 2 runs get you into a very manageable 3rd down situation here as they inch toward the red zone.
Look at it, 3rd and 1 from the 31. And they're going to keep it himself, and that is indeed a first down. Jalen Cropper doing the dirty work by himself as he fields a snap.
Well, there's Cropper doing his own little mesh or pseudo mesh and taking it himself and getting the first down, showing a little bit of a wildcat look with the receiver is Ryan Grubb, the offensive coordinator for the Fresno State Bulldogs. They've had a week to tweak some things and look at things after the Hawaii game.
Here's Rivers. Not a whole lot going there for Ronnie Rivers. Tackled right away by Isaias Gandy.
What you do when you run these wildcat looks early, as we take a look at Gandy, who came up and made a nice play, is you're making them adjust to it. You have an extra blocker in the game. You're having to fit that run in a much more aggressive way, and that really can raise some alarm bells for a defense early.
Rivers again, and nothing going there as he is hit behind the line of scrimmage. Jordan Bertinoli and Garrett Krall, first two there.
Yeah, they're right in the backfield right away. Bertinoli, a local guy from Casper, Wyoming, gets up and celebrates, and they force another third down here, but a very manageable third down with the way Fresno's offense works in the short passing.
Jordan Mims checking in at running back. 3rd and 6 for the Bulldogs. Here's Mims with room, picks up the first down easily and knocked out of bounds at the 10-yard line.
Talked about that short passing game. Hayner's able to work his whole progression and watch Wyoming just kind of drop back quickly here. And everybody gets a little bit tied up. Not a pick play, but just a little bit of a tie up there on the left side. And Mims came free to make the catch. Well designed.
First and goal, Mims remaining in the game. Here's Mims again, runs into a wall of Cowboys.
They're not getting a lot of push right now on that Wyoming defensive front. Very rarely do teams get a push on that Cowboy defensive front, especially here in the altitude in Laramie. And they're going to have to earn their yardage running the ball. Don't abandon it. Stay with it.
2nd and goal. And they're looking to the sideline as they change plays. Play clock winding down at 2. Hayner over the middle to Cropper, met right away at the 8-yard line. That's Gandy again.
Gandy's known as a very good run defender for the Cowboys defense. This time, Cropper on the route, and he just digs and makes a very nice play and a sure tackle. Wyoming likes to keep things like that in front of them in the short passing, and they can because of their ability as a tackling defense. One of the better tackling defenses we've seen this year.
9th play of the drive coming up. 3rd and goal from the 6. Hayner flushed out of the pocket to his right. Josh Kelly takes a huge hit out of bounds. That was Rome Weber laying wood.
We just talked about it. Keep it in front of you, come up and rally to the football. It's just Rome Weber and Kelly all alone, and Weber keeps it clean, but makes sure that Kelly knows that he's there, trying to keep his head out at least. And a violent hit on the line of scrimmage. Oh, and they are going to take a look at it, maybe.
It's under review.
I don't know if he put the head down, Petros, but there was certainly helmet-to-helmet contact right there.
Yeah, there really was helmet-to-helmet contact. That's a tough position for Rome Weber to be in. You can kind of tell he was leading with his shoulder, but you know, he's digging to make that tackle, so he's got a forward lean. His head's going to be in front of him. It'll be interesting to see how the officials interpret this play. Give us a good idea of how the rest of the game's going to be called as well.
Well, and you have Josh Kelly kind of falling down to make the catch a little bit. Always a tough position to be in for the defender. Here's another look.
And he does lower that head, but he doesn't hit him with the crown per se. I would say he's kind of halfway down with the crown, and you're absolutely right about that. Kelly does drop his head as well.
These are always just bam, bam plays. Let's bring in Mike Pereira, our rules expert. Mike, what'd you see here?
Well, Dan, first thing you got to look at is what category do you put him into? Is he defenseless, or has he completed the catch and become a runner? In that case, then you're looking for strictly crown of the helmet, not the side of the helmet, the crown of the helmet. Now, even though he's maybe completed the process of the catch, the rule says he still has to have that element of time that he can protect himself. So that's the first decision they're going to have to make. Obviously, it's a big hit, and we'll just see which category they put him into.
Mike, it's interesting. You say establish yourself as a runner, and when you look at Kelly there, he actually takes 3 or 4 steps, but he's kind of backwards. I don't know if he ever actually established himself. What are you seeing here in terms of that?
Well, I think, again, the old establishing yourself as a runner is making a football act or having the time to make it. So, to me, there's no question it's a catch, but still you get that extra bit of time to actually be able to protect yourself. And I'm not sure that he does, but it is clearly helmet to helmet. If you put him into the fact that he did establish himself as a runner, then you're looking, and Petros talked about it, right to the top of the head, the crown of the helmet. That becomes the 913 hit. That's the rule. So, again, I don't know about that portion of it because it is kind of the side of the helmet and not the direct crown.
All right, Mike, thank you.
After review, it is determined that player number 8, targeting, half the distance to the goal, first down. Player number 8 is disqualified.
So Rome Weber, with 7 minutes to go here in the first quarter, is ejected from the game for targeting. That's a tough break. Weber, obviously hard-hitting, strong safety in the secondary that's been the top pass defense in the conference.
And I thought Mike established himself very well by giving us that point about him being established. But I think you could argue for quite some time whether or not that young man was established, Josh Kelly, before Rome Weber made a hit.
First and goal inside the 5 for Fresno State. Hainer to throw. That pass is complete, and that is a touchdown. Juan Rodriguez, the tight end, with the first score of the ballgame.
And they ran the old horse 3 or the spider pass or whatever you want to call it. You send that tight end out into the flat, and you lead the back to block onto the end. You see it right there. Back doesn't even have to get much of a piece in the end. Completed pass after the disappointing turn of events for Wyoming, a turnover. Fresno able to capitalize on the road. That's a big turnaround.
And the extra point is good. So the Bulldogs on top, 7-0 after Jake Hainer's 19th touchdown pass of the year.
Welcome back to Laramie. Fresno up early after the turnover. This is the old spider pass. You're going to see Rodriguez. He's going to make a little fake that he's going to block on the edge, and then the block on the edge actually comes from Rivers, the back, and it's that moment of confusion there that causes the linebacker to give a split second to enable Hainer to throw that ball, and the coverage is always late coming over. It almost works every time, but very few teams run it to the left. Most everybody only runs that play to the right.
Worked out perfectly for Fresno State on top. 7-0 early. Wyoming's offense back on the field after this. Welcome back to Laramie. War Memorial Stadium, the highest elevated stadium in all of the land. Listen, it's in the Mountain West Conference. 5 of the 6 highest stadium elevations are in this conference, but 7,200 feet above sea level, Petros. We're not messing around here.
It's tough. I mean, it gets you. You don't even see Rice Eccles in Utah there, and I feel like I can barely breathe when I'm there. I mean, it's a tall order to come to this place. That's why Fresno having early success is important.
Chambers keeping it himself and picking up a nice gain for this Wyoming offense who could use it. When you look at that Air Force game, they could get nothing going in the first half. He didn't complete his first pass until the last minute of the first half. They had 3 4 and outs. Already starting a little bit better today.
Yeah, that play call was really just about him to get the ball in his hands again and run it and wait and get up and hand it to the official without fumbling it. That fumble can really mess with you going down the stretch of a game.
2nd and 2 from the 33. Valladay puts his head down and may have picked up 1. Valladay, the leading rusher in the Mountain West Conference each of the last 2 years, has a couple of career 200-yard games. He's been tough, he's been rugged, and they want to get him more involved.
They trust him implicitly, and they want to get him more involved, not just running the ball like that between the tackles, which I imagine they're going to do here, but they want to get him in space more. He's a good receiver in the screen game.
Valladay split wide left. Empty backfield now for Chambers. Chambers quick throw, first down Wyoming. And for Chambers, his first completion of the game.
Uncharacteristic play call for Wyoming, right? They're really opening things up by doing this, getting the ball out to the perimeter to Nayor, who is their #1 receiver, in an empty backfield look on what is normally a jumbo short yardage type of down.
Already more completions with 5 minutes to go in the first quarter than he had in the first 29 minutes against Air Force, keeping it on the ground again with Valladay, and he picks up a couple.
And you see all that motion just before the play started. I mean, all of that is just window dressing to keep you staring in the backfield until they hit you with that jab with Valladay. That time they brought Joshua Cobbs across, really setting up that end around, which they have run early in this game.
2nd and 6 for the Pokes. Chambers set to throw, rolling to his left, and there's Nayor again, best wide receiver on this team, down to the 40-yard line.
Big target, 6'3", 210 pounds, and bails Chambers out in this situation. Nayor took a second to come up with that, caught it a couple times because Bland had a hand on the ball. Concentrated, pulled it in, and then finished the play down the sideline.
Kosi Aguina had a shot at him but couldn't hold on. Nayor slippery as he picks up the first down for the Cowboys. Here Chambers is again. Chambers can run the ball. He does have 6 100-yard rushing games, but the last one came back in 2019. Obviously very important to this Cowboys offense to build his confidence early.
And that time they bring Cobbs around, and instead of handing it to Valladay, Chambers takes it himself. And when people think the run game's simple, these are little nuances, little wrinkles that they throw in there that cause split seconds of hesitation that could mean the difference for a long run.
Flags down.
False start. Number 8, offense. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
It's Titus Swen, the running back.
Swen is a guy they've liked to get in the game a whole bunch. It didn't look like Swen is the guy that jumped.
Unless he gained about 100 pounds, I don't think that was Swen.
It was Logan Harris who jumped, but those are especially damaging penalties to an offense like this. Chambers wants to take another look at something else.
Wyoming is using their first timeout of the half. Full timeout.
Timeout coming here. Wyoming trying to continue this march down the field on the other side. Back at War Memorial Stadium, Fresno on top, 7-0, but the Cowboys are on the move, looking at a 2nd and 11 on the Fresno 45. Uh-oh.
He's got it.
Okay, good.
Come on.
I was nervous for just a half a second.
Farm strength in Laramie.
These guys are strong. These Cowboys don't mess around.
A lot of ag for both these schools.
That's true. People don't think about that in California. Quick dump off to Xavier Valladay inside the 35 down to the 33-yard line.
Well, we discussed that screen game that they want to get going, and this is it. You know, you hit him a few times with Valladay up the gut, and then you get those big farm guys moving on the edge, and you saw Logan Harris leading the way through, and that will stop a defense from rushing your quarterback and maybe open things up down the field for Sean Chambers, should Coach Bowl choose to go deep later.
Kind of escort you want if you're Valladay. There's two big fellas leading the way. 1st and 10 from the 34. Lucky that wasn't picked off. Chambers unloaded it. It was Tyson Mayava right there, got a hand on it.
Mayava's a captain, a guy that they absolutely love on this Fresno State defense. Really sets the tone, and that is a heck of a play. And if he doesn't make that play, Valladay's to the house or getting run down at the 5. Falling down off arm, knocking that ball down after the all-out blitz on Chambers. What a recovery.
Titus Swen checking in at running back for the Cowboys. He'll get the ball and initially tripped up in the backfield and then met by a whole host of Bulldogs. Teron Bland on the initial contact.
Bland's a transfer from Sacramento State. Good size for a corner, 6 foot 200. They've had a lot of production from every level of their defense so far this year. They played a lot of football games, have the Bulldogs.
That they have. 6 straight to start the season. Looking at 3rd and 11 here is Wyoming. Chambers pressured, and they're going to blow it dead. Kevin Atkins, big number 90. In there for the sack, and you can hear the boos coming in from the crowd. They did not like that call.
Wyoming came into this game talking about how they wanted to run the ball a little bit more and get it to Valladay in space. A straight drop back here, and Kevin Atkins, the senior out of Murrieta, California, Vista Murrieta High School, gets after him. The crowd booing. Maybe they didn't like the call. Maybe they wanted Chambers to be not tackled in the backfield. Either way, Cowboys got to punt it.
Fawaz sends it inside the 10-yard line. Ronnie Rivers with the fair catch. And Wyoming has yet to find the scoreboard. Fresno State up 7-0 here at War Memorial. Oh, yeah. Look at that. He's gained about 100 yards on that single carry, Petros.
In cargo pants.
That's strong.
That's hard.
That is strong. Beautiful day.
Restricted cargo pants.
Aren't they all? All right, here we go. From the 9-yard line, fresh set of downs for Fresno, keeping it on the ground, and that Wyoming defense not letting Ronnie Rivers bust loose, at least not on that carry.
Oh, Chad Moma right on top of it. Best defensive player probably on the field for both teams. A lot of fun to watch him play linebacker.
2nd and 9. Rivers cutting it up the middle, hurdling his way to the first down for Fresno. Muma on the tackle.
Yeah, that time they got Muma and Easton Gibbs to over pursue. And Rivers with a really nice cut under him. Muma recovered and made the tackle, but not before a great gain, the best one of the day by Rivers.
Yeah, an 11-yard gain for Ronnie Rivers. Fresno starting what they hope is yet another scoring drive. We are back in Laramie after this. Petros Papadakis, had you not played football at USC, this would have been you in the stands, right? With 27 cups in your hand?
It's possible they're trying to build the snake.
1st and 10 from the 20 for Fresno. First play of the second quarter is a Ronnie Rivers run. And he squirts to the 25-yard line.
I think that was Goodbow that had a shot at his legs right at the line of scrimmage, and he stepped out of that, and that's 2 in a row. Very productive runs for the great senior out of Brentwood, California, Ronnie Rivers.
Hayner to the air, almost a tremendous one-handed catch by Rivers, not able to corral that one. That was C.J. Colden there in coverage.
That's on Hayner. We talked about that with the coaches at Fresno State. Ryan Grubb says he's got to throw it to a piece of a jersey when he's throwing it to a running back. You can't have a high ball to a running back. Their pads are too big, and most of them can't raise their arms on their head. It's got to be right at the numbers, or if he's doing a swing 1 foot in front of the numbers, that one's on Jake. We'll see if we can recover here.
3rd and 6 from the 25. Mims checked into the ballgame at running back for Fresno State. Hayner trying to elude the rush and just has to get rid of it. Pressure coming from that Wyoming defense, and this is what they talked about, Petros. We want to get after him just like Hawaii did.
Yeah, they want to knock him around and let him know that he's going to be in a fight for 4 quarters. He's a great creator out on the edge. I think that's Ravante Holt that was making the tackle there. And when he creates on the edge, he can be magical, but against Hawaii, like you said, Dan, it could be disastrous too. This time not so disastrous to punt the football.
Carson King on the punt for the Bulldogs. And this one bounces, takes a great Fresno bounce down to the 4-yard line. Carson King with a 71-yard punt for Fresno State. Well, that'll work. You dream about those kind of punts as a punter.
Altitude.
Coming out of Crown Jewel, who will triumph as Universal Champion as the new era of SmackDown begins. It's an all-new Friday Night SmackDown, live at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox.
All right, here is Chambers again trying to make something happen for Wyoming. Tough field position here after a 71-yard punt from Fresno State. Chambers drops back the pass, keeps it himself, spins out to the 10-yard line before he is wrapped up by Emery Pate.
Incredible instincts here because Chambers is, after that great punt by Carson King, is standing in his own end zone and just ball feels a little too hot in those hands. He takes off, does what he's comfortable doing, and gets 7 yards to build some cushion for the Cowboys on 2nd down.
Chambers with 5 carries already for 18 yards. He's the leading rusher for the Cowboys. Look at that Fresno State defense coming up large. It's Braylon Lux coming in from the secondary, helping out David Perales.
Yeah, and it's been that defensive line setting the tone. There's Perales right there, the senior out of Merced. Matt Lawson was involved there, number 91. We've seen Leonard Payne getting after it, Kevin Atkins getting after it. They're getting a lot of really productive play in the first half out of that experienced defensive front. William Inge, the defensive coordinator, has got to love what he's seeing early.
Chambers on 3rd and 5, complete over the middle, first down and more for the Cowboys. And that is Parker Christensen, Sheridan High School in Wyoming.
He's a local hero. Chambers getting the ball to the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Wyoming. Sheridan High School Bronco. Parker Christensen, a really tough blocking fullback, that time just on a tight end hank route over the middle.
7th catch of the year for Christensen. Fresh set of downs for the Cowboys. And up the middle, 3-yard gain for Titus Swen.
They brought in the backup fullback and running back, Caleb Driscoll and Titus Swen, and ran him right into the middle of the line of scrimmage. And this is how the Cowboys try to wear you down throughout the game, hitting you with multiple fullbacks, H-backs, running backs. Sean Chambers has been running the ball. Good recovery here on this drive.
Makes the handoff to Swen on 2nd and 7, wide open over the middle, and Wyoming is on the move. Trayton Welsh, the tight end, on the catch, and that's the biggest gain of the game for the Cowboys.
Really well done. Patient from Sean Chambers. You're going to see the flat open up after they get him on the move, and everybody jumps the flat route. Behind the flat route is Trayton Welch, the junior, his 8th reception of the year, not just a red zone threat. Really well executed on the run there.
32-yard pickup for Welch. That's his biggest gain of the season. Going to the air again is Chambers. And not able to keep Nayor in bounds.
But I like that. I like doing that. I like that you show Fresno State that early in this game. Nayor is a big threat for them, and here he is one-on-one with Bland. And Bland really has that arm out, not giving him a lot of space there, and if the flag stays in the pocket, it's good defense.
And indeed, the flag did stay in the pocket. Did look like he extended that arm a little bit.
A little bit.
Second and 10 from the 40. Swen wrapped up right away. And that is Lavelle Bailey on the stop for the Bulldogs.
Lavelle Bailey's been very productive. 25 tackles coming into this game, a couple of sacks and a pick. And that was a huge moment for the Fresno State defense, because getting a stop there on 2nd down, we talked to Coach Bowl about how important 1st and 2nd down is. Well, you take a shot on 1st down, you don't get what you need at a 2nd down, and a 3rd and 8 is very tough for this offense. They pulled out a couple already on this drive.
And Chambers going to call his 2nd time out of the ball game. As he looks at the play sheet on his wristband.
Wyoming has used their 2nd timeout of the half.
3rd and 8.
There'll be a media timeout
from the Fresno 38 coming up for the Cowboys. Welcome back to Laramie. Fresno State on top 7-0, but Wyoming is moving. Check this out. Last week, just 5 yards on their first 3 drives, 104 so far today. Yet the Cowboys still trying to find the end zone for the first time, much to head coach Craig Bull's chagrin. This will be 3 wide receivers to the top of your screen for the Cowboys. 3rd and 8 coming up. 7 plays, 58 yards on this drive so far. Chambers. Complete first down Cowboys to the 25-yard line. Aiden Eberhardt on the catch for Wyoming.
Well executed play. Usually they've been moving Chambers around and playing action in him to get him open receivers. Now they just drop him straight back. Eberhardt from Loveland, Colorado, the senior, turns around, shows him the numbers right between the 1 and the 9. And Wyoming's offense is moving. They're okay with being the tortoise, not the hare, especially if they're at home.
Chambers, time, throwing again. This time picked off by Fresno, off the hands of the intended receiver, and then Evan Williams with the interception for the Bulldogs.
When you get away from what you do and you throw the ball on down after down, sometimes going against your identity can cause some trouble. This was an ill-advised throw. It was well defended there. The ball popped up. It never hit the hands of the receiver, but it definitely fell into the lap of Evan Williams.
And you can see the frustration on Sean Chambers. He knew how important a quick start was in this game after they fell behind the Air Force. They did rally to tie that one up before halftime. Let's see how they handle things here as Ronnie Rivers in the backfield behind Jake Haener in a pistol formation. Haener with time and unable to hold on, right in the hands of Jalen Cropper, who's one of the top group of 5 receivers in the nation. You don't see that very often from him.
No, you don't. And after the quick change, you just knew Haener was going to air it out, and a beautifully placed football to Cropper. And like you said, Dan, that's just not something you see a whole lot. Giving the ball back, 2 turnovers by Chambers, putting it in the hands of Haener. Very dangerous thing for the Cowboys to do. Let's see if this Bulldogs offense comes to life.
2nd and 10 from their own 29. Haener rolls out to his left. That pass is caught by Cropper. And 3rd and short now on the horizon.
I really like the play call there. Get Haener moving after the original drop back and just run with Cropper and make that play. Cropper, one of the more prolific receivers, not only in the Mountain West, but the country. 44 receptions coming into this game. Talk about a go-to guy between him, Rivers, and Jake Haener. What a big 3 the Bulldogs have.
Tied a school record with 4 touchdowns against UNLV. 3rd and 2. Quick pitch inside and down to the 40-yard line for the first down. Cropper with his 3rd carry.
Fresno says we're not the only team that runs an end around, but that one's going to go down as a pass for Haener because he threw it forward. Whether you bring that guy behind or in front, something that you have to really pay attention to because you don't want them running into each other.
Quick pass to Rivers, and he's met all right away by Garrett Krall. Nice play by Krall coming in from that defensive end position.
And he's one of those, that's what makes this defense a little bit different. These big rangy defensive ends they play with. Krall is one of them, 6'5", about 240.
Running with tempo is Fresno. Here's Rivers with some room. And there's a flag down as he's pushed out of bounds at the 48-yard line.
Sometimes you see a soft edge like that and the flag. Doesn't take a genius to diagnose what's coming up. Lucky for you, I'm not a genius.
I beg to differ.
Holding, number 72, offense, 10 yards, still 2nd down.
You knew it. Dante Bull, the left tackle, called for the holding penalty here.
6'7" is Dante Bull. You see him out there just grabbing a little bit high and grabbed a little bit too long on Solomon Byrd, but not bad position to be in. Aggressive blocking from the big guy.
Whistle's blown. That was the first penalty of the game for Fresno State as we are midway through the 2nd quarter.
Coach DeBoer told us about that. They don't want to be in a situation where they're coming from behind like they've had to in a few games this year. Here they are on the road. It's a tough place to play. They're winning, and they're not making a whole bunch of mistakes. In fact, they've capitalized on Wyoming, forced a couple of turnovers.
After that penalty, 2nd and 21. Jordan Mims in the backfield for Fresno. Here's Mims with room out past the 40-yard line. So an 11-yard gain for Mims.
Nice little jump cut here. Look at that, Dan, right there. Reading the offensive line and down the field tackle for Braden Smith.
Still 3rd and 11 from their own 39. Hayner looking to his right, nothing going there. Mims was there, but had no shot at the ball. Jalen Pate, the defensive end, bringing the pressure for the Cowboys.
That one blew up, and I don't know if Hayner ever really thought that Mims was going to be able to catch it. It just seemed like he threw it to an area of the field that nobody was going to get it. And another stop by Wyoming. But a good job by Fresno, forcing another turnover and flipping the field.
The last punt by Carson King went 71 yards and rolled inside the 5-yard line. Fair catch by Everhart. Ball for right around the 20 yards. After a 40-yard punt this time. 6:52 to go here in the first half. Fresno State up by 7.
It's just the same old song.
A defensive battle so far here in Laramie. State Farm halftime show coming up at the half. Oklahoma State takes down another ranked team, and Michigan State, Sparty, surviving a big scare. Halftime show coming up with Rob Stone and the guys in just a few minutes. Xavier Valladay not going anywhere. Both of these defenses been very strong at the point of attack and at the line of scrimmage. This time it's Evan Williams coming in from his free safety spot.
Up for the challenge. Both of these defenses have been really purposed, very physical and gritty. And you expect that. You expect that from the Bulldogs, and you expect it from the Cowboys. It's a great Mountain West Conference this year, very competitive. I don't know if I thought that this was going to be the tone of the game midway through the second quarter, but it's been gritty.
Here's Valladay again. They are continuing to try to establish that presence up the middle. And that is Tyson Maeva comes over from FIU and almost appointed captain immediately. What a good player he's been for them.
Watch him fill the gap. Number 58 right there stands up. Valladay right in the hole and waits for his teammates to rally and make the play. Maeva, transfer from FIU, been at Boise State as well, has really found a home. Came in as a third school transfer and immediately became a captain. That's showing your teammates who you are. This guy is a big-time leader.
One of those super seniors in his 6th year of eligibility. 3rd and 10 for Chambers. And that is not close to anybody, so 4th down coming up. Trayton Welch, the closest receiver, never had a chance of making that catch.
Well, they're really not getting what they need on 1st and 2nd down for their 3rd down packages to work. That was a pretty slick call on a kind of a wheel route to Valladay. Covered beautifully by the Bulldogs. They diagnosed it. Chambers had nowhere to go, and now Hayner's going to get another shot at it.
Ronnie Rivers back deep to field the Ralph Fawaz punt. Kind of a little snap, has to go down to get it. Gets the punt off. And fair catch called for inside the 40-yard line. Still 7-0 here at War Memorial Stadium. 5:18 left. See if Fresno can do some work. Welcome back to Laramie. Tomorrow on Fox, it's one of the oldest rivalries in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers, the Packers, taking on the rookie Justin Fields, and the Bears for control of the NFC North or other regional action. Check your local listings for the game in your area only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Wyoming trying to get something going. There is Pistol Pete. Defensively, they've had plenty going. Holding Fresno to just 7 points. 5 minutes left here in the first half. Jay Kaner with time and complete over the middle. Zane Pope with his first catch of the game, the most savvy receiver on this football team.
Now he's starting to stretch it out. Up until that moment, he was 7 for 12 for only 30 yards, 8 for 13, and he gets a big chunk of what he's produced already. Fresno's had some balance, though. 13 pass attempts, 13 rushes so far in this game. And I think they like the position they're in on the road here.
Ronnie Rivers swallowed up in the backfield. And again, both of these defenses come into play here, and that is Jordan Bertinoli making his presence felt.
Bertinoli with that gathered up jersey and the tape on the back, making a kind of a belly flop tackle.
They're trying to make it hard for us to identify.
They taped up all those jerseys on the back, so the O-line can't grab it.
Rivers, his head down out past the 30-yard line, but again, not much going against that stout Wyoming defense. And that was Jordan Mims on the carry, not Rivers, beg your pardon.
Either way, though, they've been filling the holes. Both these teams came into the game wanting to establish the run, wanting to make that a priority, and both defenses so far have been up to the challenge.
3rd and 5 on the Wyoming 30. Empty set for Haener. Timeout, Wyoming.
Wyoming
can
is
see
the 3rd and final timeout of the half.
Craig Bowl looking like he's a little frustrated. Maybe some miscommunication there on defense.
Yeah, he was talking to his coordinator, Jay Sauvel. Wanted that timeout, did not like the reaction defensively, formation-wise, to the empty backfield, and wanted to take a look at it. There's Coach.
Wyoming now out of timeouts. One of the things we talked about in our production meetings with Craig Bowl and Sauvel is it's been polar opposite the last 2 weeks. They faced the #1 rush offense in Air Force. They got ready for them for 2 weeks because they had a bye week. And then just Tuesday of this week, they start kind of getting back to their normal defense as they prep for Fresno. I think they've responded pretty well so far, holding Fresno to just 7 points.
They've played pretty well defensively. Offensively, they just haven't pulled the weight yet.
3rd and 5. Haener pressured, eludes 2 tacklers. He's going to keep it himself, has some room, slides down to the 20-yard line. On 3rd and 5, good coverage. Haener having to do it all by himself.
This is where he can be confounding. He is so savvy at getting away from a rush in the backfield, ends up tucking the ball, eyes back downfield, tucks the ball again and protects it, and then protects himself. Really well done. Nice awareness by Jake, and he gets a new set of downs as a reward.
9-yard gain and the first down for Haener. Ball on the 21. Rivers in motion. They fake the handoff to Rivers. Haener looking up the right side, back of the end zone, incomplete.
They try to pick on Azizi Hearn with Wheatfall, I think, the intended receiver. Now, Wheatfall was out there with him, and Hearn never got his head around. And Haener had a chance because of that, either for the penalty or the catch.
Tempo again. Rivers in the backfield on 2nd and 10. Bulldogs operating out of this pistol formation. Rivers steps up. And Haener's pass dropped by Cropper. It's the second pass this half that Cropper hasn't been able to hold on to.
That is just not what you're used to with this offense. Haener numbers would look a little bit different if Cropper was able to haul a few of these in. That one is right on the money. It may be just a hair behind, but needs to be hauled in. He just turned his head downfield a little too soon. Big 3rd down. See if they can recover.
Wyoming given a look like they could be bringing pressure, and timeout called by Haener.
This is the first timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
So first timeout for Fresno. Ball on the 21-yard line. 3rd and long coming up.
And they just haven't really felt in rhythm offensively, and I guess they probably felt like that since the second half in Honolulu. So it's been a while since this prolific offense has been running on all cylinders, as you see Coach DeBoer talking to Haener and him trying to figure it out. You want to dial up a play in this moment here. After all the hard work the Bulldogs have done, you don't want to give it up to Wyoming and leave enough time for them to road grade you. Go into the locker room feeling a lot better about this half at home.
3rd and 10 on the 21. Have to get to the 11 to pick up the first down. Ronnie Rivers alongside Jake Haener in the backfield. Pressure coming for Haener. Flushes him out of the pocket, dumps it off to Rivers, and Rivers taken down right away by C.J. Colden.
Good tackling by Colden there. Things could have gotten interesting if Rivers had escaped his grasp. Haener does some creation and gets it to Rivers. They're going to be able to run some clock here after the attempt, but there'll be some time for the Pokes to try to get that offense going.
Could not tell if Haener was kind of limping off the field. He's been battling injuries, an ankle and a hip, really banged up against Hawaii. Say he was the healthiest he'd been in a long time coming into this one. Field goal up and no good. So Wyoming able to hold Fresno State here. 2 minutes left in the half. They get the ball back, and they're going to have a shot to tie things up.
And with the missed field goal, you get the crowd into it. The defense is coming off the field excited because they've had a good half, and maybe momentum carries that offense onto the field. Coach DeBoer wishing that drive went a little bit differently. Started out well as the Bulldogs started to get the chunk yardage in the passing game that they're accustomed to.
Almost a pained look on DeBoer's face there. He knows they needed to leave that drive with some points on the board. State Farm halftime show coming up at the half with Rob Stone, Brady Quinn, and the guys. Oklahoma State takes down another ranked team among the big stories today. Less than 2 minutes to go. Wyoming going to keep it on the ground. That is Chambers by himself. Talk about chunk plays. Chambers with a 21-yard run before he's tackled by Evan Williams.
Well, they've been doing all kinds of mesh things throughout the day. It's a fake, and they bring around a blocker to lead through for Chambers, and he exploits that hole. Nice start to the drive. Remember, they've used all their timeouts, which is something that was frustrating Coach Bowl, and you can see why.
Halliday with some room up the middle, carrying tacklers with him.
Now, this is not much of a explosive, let's score in under 2 minutes type of offense. So watching Sean Chambers execute this 2-minute drill will be interesting. They even huddled
For a defensive injury.
after that first play. Injury to Maeva.
Maeva down on one knee, being tended to. And again, Wyoming doesn't have any timeouts left as we look at.
This is a break for them. And you know Tyson's an experienced player. He would not be taking that knee if he didn't absolutely need to, because this gives Wyoming a chance to sort of regroup and get themselves together with no timeouts. If they can pull off a field goal attempt here, that'd be a huge shot in the arm for the Pokes.
Please reset the game clock to 1:10. 1:10.
Another 2 seconds go back on the clock as the Cowboys looking at 2nd and 1. And again, back to their game against Air Force. Couldn't get anything going, but they rallied at the end of the first half. They were able to tie that up. Perhaps a similar situation here, and an entirely different feeling going into the locker room if you can do that. Chambers, time. right in the breadbasket of Alex Brown, and Brown unable to hold on to that. That would have been an easy first down for Wyoming.
Would have been a first down. Would have moved the chains. Would have stopped the clock momentarily. Little bit behind him for Alex Brown, but he needed to come up with that as he was going to the ground. Incomplete pass is not the worst thing in the world in these situations, but they need that yardage.
So 3rd and 1 from the Fresno 48. Chambers keeps it himself, picks up the first down. So clock will stop momentarily and then start back up again. 55 seconds left in the half.
So can he get this offense organized? Can they get another chunk play or two to make this manageable?
Chambers up the left sideline. And overthrew his man by a couple of yards.
Timeout for the defensive injury.
He was looking for Isaiah Nayor. And as you heard, timeout for a defensive injury here. I believe that's Aaron Mosby, who is hobbling off the field, a very important member of this Fresno State Bulldog defense. Started as a safety as a freshman, has grown into a defensive end and one of the most dominant defensive linemen on this team.
And he just had to get off the field. Aaron knows how big of a situation this is, and to have a second defensive injury when Wyoming has no timeouts. He just kind of willed himself off the field in that situation, did the senior.
So Mosby and Maeva both out right now for this Fresno defense. Certainly two of their stronger players. And Chambers going to get bailed out here by a pass interference call. Braylon Lux was there in coverage.
That's either Braylon Lux
or Malachi Langley.
Yeah, there he is.
I think that was Malachi.
Had a hand on Valladay going down the field.
Pass interference, number 13, defense. Spot foul, automatic first down.
They ended up calling it on Justin Houston.
One of the three.
Well, there's 35. That's Langley, and that's who it's on. He's covering up Valladay. Houston was just in the area.
that was a good call.
And, you know, a penalty, a couple of injuries that have stopped the clock. Wyoming, 41 seconds. Plenty of time to work with here with the first down. See what Chambers can pull off. Again, a field goal attempt would be huge. A touchdown would be game-changing.
It was a 7-yard penalty. Ball's on the 39. Chambers under pressure, just has to get rid of it.
He did well feeling that pressure from his left and going up and getting rid of that ball. Again, incomplete passes, even the dropped one in these situations. They stop the clock. They allow you to get a play call. Not as much sense of urgency. Take a deep breath. But the defense is able to do that too.
37 seconds to go here in the half. 2nd and 10 coming up for Sean Chambers and this Wyoming offense. Play clock winding down. Just get it off. Chambers throws again. Nice catch made, but nothing going. There's the defense there to make the stop, and Lavelle Bailey on the tackle. 29 seconds. And again, for the 3rd time on this drive, we have a Fresno State defensive injury that stops the clock.
And it's Maeva again. He came back on the field and went down again, and he is struggling. And wonder what's going on with him. We hope he's okay. That was just a simple out route to Valladay that was well defended by Bailey. Would have kept the clock running. He's 58 and just goes down.
He's
grabs
grabbing
that
the
left leg, yeah. He's trying to will himself out there, and it looks like he's really struggling with that left leg right now. Nice to see him get off under his own power. But another costly stop of the clock for the Bulldogs defense.
So 29 seconds to go. 3rd and 6 coming up as Sean Chambers gets the call and lets him know in the huddle. Xavier Valadez remains in the backfield. And that is Nayor in motion. Now on the bottom of your screen. Chambers pressured, throws up the middle, off the hands of Nayor. So 4th down coming up with 23 seconds to go here for Wyoming. Ball's on the 35.
Chambers steps up again. Eludes that rush and finds a throwing lane, gets the ball out, but just opposite momentum from where Nayor was going. Nayor's arm was hooked. That's why he wanted the flag. And here's the attempt.
Kick is up, and John Hoyland unable to connect for the Cowboys. So 18 seconds to go as Fresno State will get the ball back on the 43. You take a couple of shots here, or are you content to go into the locker room up 7-0?
Take a knee. You're feeling good. Hayner's been limping around a little bit. Going to be playing some defense. A couple of timeouts. Maybe you try one, but on the road, I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like they will indeed take a knee. Keep in mind, this is an offense that has put up 63 points, 45 points, another 40-point game in that win over UCLA. They are used to putting up points, just 7 for Fresno State. A real defensive battle here at War Memorial Stadium in Laramie. Fresno on top by a touchdown. Cowboys looking to come back in the second half.
Welcome to the State Farm Halftime Show.
Glad you're with us. Rob Stone, Brady Quinn, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart here with you. Earlier on Big Noon Kickoff, we said we're going to learn more about unbeaten Oklahoma State after their showdown at Texas. The lesson learned today, the Cowboys are a major player this year in the Big 12 as we take in our State Farm halftime highlights. Pick this one up, 4th quarter, Cowboys down 8. Spencer Sanders, Brennan Presley, 7-yard strike. Oklahoma State would go for 2, not convert it, so they're still down to 24-22. Sanders, the keeper, his legs have been strong all season, and the Cowboys take the lead.
Looked like Texas was trying to let him score to get the ball back. It didn't quite work out.
Last gasp, Casey Thompson picked.
I guess Texas is letting a lot of people score late in the game.
Another strong start goes by the wayside. So teams with 3 wins over ranked opponents this season. The Cowboys get their 3rd in 3 games. They join the likes of Bama, Iowa, and Georgia. And here's their head coach, Mike Gundy, after win number 143 with Jenny Taft.
Well, our guys did a good job. I tell you, it was a really, really good job coaching adjustments. But our players have been very, very resilient. And I couldn't be any more proud of their competitive nature. And we were able to rush the ball in the second half. And then defensively, we were fantastic.
Jaylen Warren has been a factor. I know he's new to the team this year. He came to the Big 12 to send a message. How important has he been for this offense?
Well, he's been a difference maker. And what he brings to our team is unselfish toughness. He's unselfish, he's humble, plays hard, he's tough. So, those guys are valuable.
Congratulations. Go enjoy it.
Good, thank you.
Warren, 33 carries, 193 yards, averaged just under 6 a carry. So the Cowboys, they get their most impressive win of the season. They remain one of 2 unbeaten still in the Big 12, both from the Sooner State. So what is the known now about the Cowboys?
No, I think we can assuredly say they're legit. I mean, that's 3 wins in a row now versus top 25 opponents. They're clearly led by their defense. You know, they held Texas to 4 of 14 third down conversions. That was something we talked about with Coach Stoops and kind of breaking down Jim Knowles' defense. And they came out to play. They forced a couple interceptions from Casey Thompson. One was a pick six, which obviously mattered when you look at the final score of the game. So no doubt about it, Oklahoma State is right there in the hunt for a Big 12 championship, led by their defense and that rushing attack.
Yeah, and Jalen Warren was special today. We heard the coach talk about, he said, unselfish toughness, and he was a difference maker, averaging 6 yards every time he touched the football. So that means on first down, I'm looking at 2nd and 4. If it's 2nd and 4 and I hand the football off to Jalen Warren, I'm getting a first down. And they were able to control the clock like that. And so when you have that kind of ammunition behind you, we saw Spencer Sanders walk into the end zone. We saw them be able to control this game from beginning to end, and that was the difference maker.
I think the key to them, and first, they're legit. I think they're legit in this conference, but the key for me is Spencer Sanders. He still had another interception today. If they can't run the football, can he win a game throwing the ball? Only about 180 yards throwing today. He made some pretty good decisions. Obviously, his legs are his biggest weapon. But for them to make a run in Big 12 play, for me, it comes down to Spencer Sanders. The defense is great. The running game is picked up. Warren is a beast. Can Spencer Sanders lead them to a Big 12 championship game? At this point, I think he can, but he's still got to get better.
It was that drive to me going into half. I know they only got a field goal, but he was 5 of 6 on that drive. That kind of carried some of that momentum in the second half. The other thing that kind of goes unnoticed, and it was so different than what we saw in the Red River Showdown. Remember all those big plays back and forth between Texas and Oklahoma? You didn't see much of that today. And that's because the Oklahoma State defense, I think, did a great job of keeping everything in front of them. They've got those levels of their defense that makes it so hard to throw in between those windows and make plays. It's going to be a fun matchup, especially in Bedlam when they take on Oklahoma.
And remember, Mike Gundy this week said we don't want to get into a shootout with Texas. They were able to avoid it. They've got Iowa State next week. This week, though, Cincinnati rose to number 3, their highest ever ranking in the AP poll. So they've gone from hunter to hunted. But they gave UCF no chance to strike today. Jerome Ford was really the story, guys. 20 carries, 189 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, over 200 yards of total offense. I mean, he was the man today, Reg.
Absolutely. Again, another running back having a great day. When you have that kind of ammunition, man, it just makes the game so much easier.
Defense putting up some points as well. Kobe Bryant, pick 6. Cincinnati rushed for 336 yards, 56-21, the final in that one.
Kobe!
Earlier on FS1, number 10, Michigan State, trying to remain unbeaten heading into the bye week at Indiana. Cal Halliday, pick 6, Sparty up 7-3.
That was the only offense, though, for Michigan State in the first half.
Pretty much the whole game.
No, they got some in the third quarter.
Yeah, they got
Thorne, Tyler Hunt, his only grab of the day.
They had to go deep in the well on that drive.
Hunt had a nice pass earlier.
He did, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker III, only 84 yards on 23 carries. Auburn at number 17, Arkansas, Bo Nix heaves it. Demetrius Robertson.
Oh, nice throw.
Nix, 292, 2 touchdowns through the air. But you know what? Nix is more than just a thrower.
He is. He can run it, too.
It's what he does best.
Whoop.
Hey,
Nice
man.
little move.
Coach called this one. He said Bo Nix was going to be running all over.
Hey, Auburn 5-2.
Arkansas going backwards.
Sneaking up in the SEC West.
LSU hosting number 20, Florida. 5 seconds left in the half. Gators down 21-6. Emory Jones, just throw it up.
Oh, there's like 4 guys back there.
No
LSU
problem.
okay.
Just
Wait,
shorter.
what is number 31 doing? Do you see what number 31 is? What is he has his back? What are you doing?
You know what? That's Bush League.
We trying to play football here.
That's Bush League, man.
42-42, late fourth on 4th and goal. Max Johnson to Jenkins, his 3rd touchdown of the day. Eddie O gets a big win. LSU goes to 4-3.
Congrats, Coach.
Number 21, Texas A&M, off that win over Bama last week. They took it to Mizzou.
Are they going to play defense?
Nope.
I mean, I could have probably scored on that play.
Nope. No, Matt. Nope. Nope. Isaiah Spiller, 20 carries, 168, a touchdown.
At 23 years old, I could have scored at that play.
Zach Calzada throws that one in. 431 yards of A&M.
That's a cover.
Offense. All right, let's go back to that Michigan State win on the road. They are off next week, and then they host fellow unbeaten Michigan. The big picture view of Michigan State right now heading into their bye week.
Listen, conference road wins are very difficult. I don't care who you play. Indiana's a good team. Indiana's 4 losses are against top 10 football teams. They come to play. We know what type of team Coach Allen teams have. Their defense was great today. Their offense was poor. But when you go into a position where you've never been, top 10, undefeated, maybe reading the headlines, maybe feeling yourself, you go from what? The hunter to the hunted, right? Every team is going to give you your best shot. That's what Indiana did today. So for me, I actually think this team gained more resilience, more toughness. I think it's a big win for them. It wasn't pretty, but it was a big win.
You got to find ways to win.
Absolutely.
In particular on the road when you're an undefeated team like this. And I thought Peyton Thorne stepped up in a big way because Tom Allen put this game on his shoulders. He said, go ahead, try to beat me with your arm. And it wasn't all his arm. It was a little bit of his legs, too. I mean, look at this catch. Look at the catch.
Hey,
this is unbelievable.
High pointed the ball, Brady.
I know. He kicked 1 foot in bounds.
That's a great
play. I like
play.
the number he wears, too.
I've seen some receivers that couldn't get 1 foot.
And then later on, though, he pays off Hunt with the nice play design, little misdirection. And so, look, Thorne showed up when he needed to. They did just enough to be able to get a win. All that matters at this point, you advance, you survive, you're undefeated. Michigan State's they're making little waves right now.
So now they got to play Michigan. You talk about these rivalry games. These are some of the biggest games. I remember our rivalry game we had with Cal, and it just felt like every game was going to the wire. We had that triple overtime game. That's what's in store for Michigan State now. Now you're the hunted. Now everybody wants to knock you off, and you're the measuring stick.
Little brother, I think Michigan likes to call Michigan State. I'm just saying, that's not my words.
Remember, they won last year, though. We had Draymond Green on here, and they won big time.
Easy with the little brother comment. Didn't come from me. I know that. Our nightcap here on Fox, a Pac-12 matchup. UCLA faces Washington live from Seattle, 8:30 Eastern. Second half from Wyoming on the backside.
Low-scoring game at War Memorial Stadium. Only touchdown of the day. Jake Haener to Juan Rodriguez, his first touchdown of the season. Nothing in Laramie. Fresno State on top of Wyoming. Petros Papadakis, Dan Helly here with you. And you always talked about both of these teams having an identity. Tough, hard-nosed. For Fresno State this year, part of their identity has been a high-scoring, high-flying offense. We haven't seen that yet.
No, we haven't seen it. We've seen a lot of defense. We've seen a lot of linebackers filling holes and a lot of anger. But it was the 3 T's that got Fresno going early in this game. First, the turnover, that's what led to them getting the ball deep in Wyoming territory. Then the targeting, that's our second T. And that got Rome Weber kicked out of the game. And then the third T, the touchdown on the Spider 3 pass, not off and run to the left. And that's really just been the difference in this game. That one moment early in the first quarter.
Look at the rushing yards, just over 50 for both teams. And the big surprise here, I guess, is Jake Haener, just 54 passing yards so far. Sean Chambers with 93. He's also been running the ball a little bit. In terms of total yardage, the numbers in favor of Wyoming, despite the fact they trail on the scoreboard, but those 2 turnovers have really done that.
They've moved the ball. They haven't been able to punch it in. Now that's a decision to make in the morning.
Oh, that's
Put
strong.
that thing on and get the hat on and just go root for the post. Come on.
That's the way they do it in Laramie. And we are underway. Wyoming will be on offense to start the second half. And they came into this game wanting to establish the run. Wanted to start inside, and that opens things up on the outside and then take some shots. And they have taken a couple of shots. They just haven't been able to capitalize and get anything going consistently.
That's what it's been, and they had a nice-looking drive, helped out by a few Fresno issues, but they moved the ball pretty well at the end of the half.
There's Valladay with some daylight Tough running by Valladay down to the 40-yard line. Lavelle Bailey finally drags him down after a 19-yard gain.
And this is what they want to do. Look at these guys pulling around, getting everybody moving, leading out there. Frank Crum leading the way. Valladay finds the crease, and then he fights and fights with Bailey to get an extra 5 yards. Violent run, violent finish. That's who the Cowboys want to be. But you're right, the consistency hasn't been there. We've seen a couple plays like that, but nothing that stacks on top of something else.
Chambers hit right as he throws. Isaiah Nayor, the intended receiver, with the pressure coming from David Perales.
And we've been talking about this defensive line in particular for the Bulldogs throughout the day. Perales, the senior, already with a sack and a half on the season. Leonard Payne, Atkins, Mosby. It really made it hard on Chambers when he's dropped back.
Valladay up the middle, tries to bounce it to the outside, but you can see that hard-hitting Fresno defense. Once again, Evan Williams coming in from that free safety spot. He leads the team in tackles for this reason.
From Campbell, California, now Valladay's going to bounce back and try to create something because the hole was stuffed. And there is nothing on the edge. Coming to scrape and clean it up is Williams with a physical finish. And just like we said, they popped the one run and then things stall. Another 3rd and long.
38 from the 46. Chambers again off the mark. His completion percentage on the season just 54% coming in. They wanted to draw up some kind of easy passes to get him more comfortable. And right now, he's 7 of 17 with that one interception so far today.
A lot of people like running that play on a 3rd down. You're not really at risk. You're running your quarterback to the right. You run the receiver to the right. You try to squeeze it into the stick there, kind of a sprint right option. But that ball was errant, and the accuracy's been an issue, like you said.
Laws on the punt again. Rivers setting up right around the 15-yard line, driven back inside the 10, fields the punt, breaks a tackle. He is wrapped up by a swarm of Cowboys at the 12-yard line. 47-yard punt, 5-yard return for Rivers. Fresno State just 7 points in the first half. Very uncharacteristic of this team.
You know, one thing that Wyoming's offense has done, not just there with with the 1 first down, but they have been able to eat some clock and to stay on the field. Their defense has not been under assault from the Bulldogs, which is why you think they might have the juice to make some calls here in the second half. I don't think Jake Hayner's going to have a wild second half throw on the ball.
That one dropped again. That was Trey Watson, the tight end. Might have gotten a hand in there, but there have been a couple of drop passes. Cropper had 2 in the first half.
Yeah, that's at least 3. And things could be different for Hayner if those passes are caught. He's having a hard time finding the consistency and the rhythm as well. But a very well-called game defensively for both coordinators.
Ball on the 13. 2nd and 10. Hayner back to throw. Hayner going to keep it himself. And going to be about 2 yards shy of picking up the first down. Chad Muma runs him out of bounds.
Nobody there for Hayner, and the rush was coming from his left. So he escapes to the right, just kind of coasts his way to 8 yards. He's moving him kind of fast, trying to get this first down.
3rd and 2. Hayner, little pump fake, going to take a deep shot, double coverage downfield, and he overthrows Carrick Wheatfall by a couple of yards as Easy Hearn, C.J. Colden with it.
3rd and 2, they take a shot, which makes you feel like they see this as 4th down territory. Rivers remains in there, and so does Hayner. There is a flag. Very late it came out. I didn't see anything on the coverage or the double coverage down the field.
Could have come early. I didn't see anything either. We will find out quickly from our referee, Tim Davis.
There's no foul on the play.
All right, well, that settles that.
Well, remember, it was that targeting penalty that kept Fresno State's first drive alive that got him the touchdown.
Does look like they are sending out their punting unit.
That's been a star today, Carson King.
He had that 71-yarder that rolled down to the 3-yard line. They could use another one of those here. Aiden Eberhardt waiting at the 36-yard line to field this one. Catch called for at the 37. So Wyoming going to get the ball back. Pretty good field position to get things started right after this. "125 years of football at Wyoming. Great tradition. Jim Kick, Josh Allen, two of the most memorable Cowboys to go on to the National Football League. And how about these numbers? Wyoming with 14 players currently in the league, second only to Boise State, Petros.
Very impressive. Coach Bohl knows how to develop.
Keeping it on the ground, chugging away. Titus Swen on the carry for the Cowboys.
Swen's gotten a lot of run this season. They like getting the ball in his hands. Now, obviously, ex-Xavier Valladay is the guy they really want to feature, but every time they give it to Sven, he gets out there and makes a guy miss and makes good things happen. And you just saw why they like Titus Swen out of Fort Worth, Texas on that carry. 9 yards.
Yeah, picked up 9, the 7th possession of the day. That was the best starting field position for the Cowboys. And here's Chambers keeping it himself and now in plus territory as he's driven back at the 50. And that was a very physical tackle by big defensive tackle Leonard Payne.
See what Wyoming can get going now. They've kept it on the ground here. It seems like when they've kept it on the ground, they've been a little bit more consistent. It's been incomplete passes that have stalled most of their drives. 91 rushing yards as a team so far for Wyoming. Swen remains in the game on first down. Pitch out to Isaiah Nayor, and there is nothing going there. Perales wrapping him up. The old TFL. David Perales really nicely getting to the backfield and staying at home, not letting himself be blocked by Parker Christensen. And that play just was too wide to begin with. Nayor needed to cut that thing up just to make it back to the line of scrimmage. Another costly play that sets this Wyoming team back. They need to be leaning forward as an offense, and just hasn't been there tonight. 2nd and 16 from their own 45. Chambers under assault and goes down. Look at all the white jerseys there for Fresno State. And then Chambers finally taken down. It is this defensive line that is all over the place. William Inge guessed right, and they brought about everybody on the edges that they could after that action in the backfield. Mosby was in the backfield. Perales was there. There are 3 or 4 guys there. Going to be interesting to see how they divvy up that sack. 3rd and 17. They don't have a lot of plays in the book for this. He's going to keep it himself again, and again he's going to be tackled behind the line of scrimmage. And they're just kind of holding on with one hand was Leonard Payne. You could see the strength of the big 6'3", 315-pounder. Leonard Payne didn't play last year. Guy out of Downey, California, and that time he's just fighting with the center, Keegan Kreider, and comes off, makes a play with one arm, like you said. What play from the front by Fresno, getting them off the field. And again, just a lack of consistency for Wyoming. They could get that first down, but after that, things stalled.
Ball bounces inside the 20 down to the 12-yard line for Watts. And Fresno State with 7 points on the board and a defense that's coming up big.
Coming out of Crown Jewel, who will triumph as Universal Champion as the new era of SmackDown begins. It's an all-new Friday Night SmackDown, live at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox.
And we are back. That takes a lot of work and effort. Look at the length of that beer snake.
Beautiful.
It's unbelievable. It's a beautiful first down run from Ronnie Rivers. That was impressive.
They put Ronnie Rivers in the Wildcat situation just to give a little bit of a different look on first down. He gets a nice run and loses his shoe.
Guess he only picked up 8, so 2nd and 2 from the 21. He was moving so fast, we thought he picked up a couple more. Keeping on the ground again. This time it's Jordan Mims who does pick up the first down for Fresno.
Jordan Mims, who's a great compliment to Ronnie Rivers, just ran over Easton Gibbs, who's a great compliment to Chad Moma. 2 good linebackers, 2 good running backs.
Down from the 28. Mims again breaks a tackle out to the 34-yard line. And Muma again, the Cowboy on the stop.
He ran into one of his guards, Vaval, and was able to overcome that. A lot of times you run into one of your offensive linemen, and that can stop the play right there. There's Moma. We saw him making some big plays in the first quarter. Guy just cleans up tackle after tackle.
Nice linebacker tradition lately here at Wyoming. Had a couple of linebackers drafted last year. Hayner. Quick pass, complete out to Ty Jones. His 13th catch of the season.
He's the matchup guy, and that was definitely a matchup play. You saw how quick it was out of Hayner's hands. Jones is 6'4". Really long arms.
Gain of 5 brings up a first down and 10 for the Bulldogs. Keeping on the ground, plenty of room for Mims. Breaking a couple of tackles, and that is a monster run before C.J. Colden gets to him. Tremendous balance by Mims on this one.
Well, you can only leave your defense out to dry for so long, and that's a really nice wash down of Goodbow, the nose tackle, and leaves a giant hole for Mims to run through, and some movement now. Teams are having a hard time handling their own success.
Number 65, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's the freshman Braylon Nelson playing in just his 2nd game, first career start for Nelson, so that's going to move him back a bit after the 23-yard gain by Mims.
They like him on that front a little bit more just to get that run game going. He's physical, young guy out of Denver, Colorado, 6'6". Looks like they want to get physical on this drive.
Sorry, Petros, go ahead.
Involved that big receiver and then 2 runs.
Got the play off right before the play clock. Hayner to Jordan Mims, and he gets tripped up by Braden Smith.
Braden Smith, the strong safety, making a pretty good tackle on him. Nice throw to the running back.
Hayner out of the shotgun again. There's a flag thrown. Looks like it's going to be on the right side of that offensive line. I think the right tackle, Alex Akingbulu, might have tackled the pass rusher.
It happened on the right side.
Holding, number 72, offense. 10-yard penalty, second down.
It is Bull, and he was really exposed out there on the edge. You can see it very clearly. It's actually on Akingbulu.
Yeah, he was the right tackle, and you had Bull playing left tackle there. Either way, it was one of the tackles, and it was a penalty.
Took down Garrett Krall by the neck.
And that sets up a 2nd and 18 on the Wyoming 47. Empty set for Haener. Need to pick up a little chunk here. And that is Ronnie Rivers down to the 35-yard line. It's Easton Gibbs from his linebacker position on the stop.
He's been chasing Rivers around all day. They need something to make third down manageable, so they bring Rivers across the formation and throwing it to him. Huge third down for Haener as Fresno has struggled against themselves on this drive.
Relatively manageable 3rd and 6 for Haener. Low snap. Here comes pressure off both edges, and down goes Haener. Solomon Byrd on the sack for the Cowboys.
Solomon Byrd, their most disciplined pass rusher, best one-on-one rusher, and here he is, 51 there, and Haener changes the play at the line of scrimmage to throw it. And you see Byrd, he beats his man right at the line of scrimmage and just keeps on coming after Haener and makes a nice sure sack, getting him down. And you hate to see Haener take those hits to the lower body after what happened in Hawaii.
Cole Goodbow there as well, coming off the other edge.
Penalties, things that these teams just can't overcome.
And the punt, fair caught at the 12-yard line by Eberhardt. Wyoming still scoreless with 4:28 to go in the third. Next week on Thursday Night Football, Baker Mayfield and the Browns facing Teddy B and the Broncos. That's Thursday at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox NFL Network and streaming on Prime Video. Relatively quiet day here at War Memorial Stadium in terms of the offense. Wyoming still trying to get on the board for the first time. Eberhardt on the end around picks up 7.
They've run all their stuff, in their run game. They've given it to the end around. They've given it to Valladay. We've seen Titus Swen. We've seen Chambers keep it. But it's been really good tackling by Fresno State and some mistakes from Wyoming. You see the total yards there. This has been a defensive ball game from the beginning.
2nd and 4. Here's Swen. And he was met by a slew of tacklers. Evan Williams, the first one there, again coming in from that safety spot.
He's been great in run support, and you can afford to bring that guy up a little bit in this situation against Wyoming because they have not threatened you down the field with any real significance thus far this afternoon in Laramie. So Williams can come up and clean people up unblocked. We've seen him make some very physical finishes this afternoon.
Valladay in at running back, 3rd and 6. Chambers set to throw. Looks down to Valladay. Bouncing around in the pocket. And it looks like the catch is made by Valladay. He moved off and made it through his progressions, ran around a little bit, then came back to find his running back.
And that's a veteran running back, too. Staying available to his quarterback and finding open space. That was a catch, but Valladay in this game now has 2,682 career rushing yards. That moves him into 4th place on the Wyoming career rushing list. Guy's done a lot of great things in the Mountain West and for this Cowboys offense.
That was a pickup of 18. Chambers picked off, tipped and picked inside the 40. Malachi Langley cutting it inside, down inside the 5-yard line. And what a play. Lavelle Bailey, the guy that got a hand on it. Malachi Langley hauls it in. And here's Fresno back in business.
Another turnover force. This was a good idea by Chambers. He had Valladay down the field behind the nickel, but Bailey gets his hand up, look at that, and tips it into the air. The old tip drill, and Langley has it drop in his arms and almost takes it back to the house. This Fresno State defense has been great, confusing Chambers every time Wyoming gets it going.
Wyoming's thrown the ball 19 times today. 2 interceptions for this Fresno State defense, keeping it on the ground here with Ronnie Rivers. And he is stacked up by that Wyoming defense once again.
That would have been a big play, as Chambers is saying. He had Valladay behind those defenders, but just a superior athletic play by the junior from Sacramento tipped that ball up.
Hayner going up to the air, and Josh Kelly not quite able to get his head around. Colden there in coverage. Quick throw by Hayner.
He really got rid of that fast, knew what he wanted, and tried to get it to Kelly in the corner. 3rd and goal now. See if Wyoming could get their bearings after the quick change and minimize the damage.
Would be a monumental effort by this Wyoming defense if they could keep him out of the end zone and hold it perhaps just a field goal. Hayner rolling to his left, into the end zone, touchdown Fresno, and this time Jalen Cropper holds on. So Fresno able to find the end zone for the 2nd time today. An extra point away from going up 14-0.
Well, this is where they were susceptible. The last touchdown they gave up, that flat to the left. Different formation, different play. Wide receiver involved this time, but they move Hayner, and he delivers it very easily for the touchdown. Fresno State taking advantage of the turnover.
Again, it's a turnover, an interception by Malachi Langley. Turns into 7 points for the Bulldogs. Lavelle Bailey with the tip. Malachi Langley with the interception, and turnovers the story of this ball game today. Both touchdowns coming off of Wyoming turnovers, and this defense stepping up big time for Fresno State.
Well, Bailey, the linebacker out of Sacramento, really made the play. You know, you think about who came up with the pick, Langley. But man, that athletic play that he made, maybe a game changer, as Wyoming was moving the ball.
Well, when you look at the yardage numbers for these guys, Wyoming has actually outgained Fresno State 200 to 188. Neither number is eye-popping, Petros. But
no.
Listen, they've gained more yardage offensively, and they're going to have to do a lot more here to get back into this ballgame. But again, we saw this from them last week. 2 quick touchdowns at the end of the first half to get back in it. They're going to need that right now with 1:52 to go in the third.
Saw the turnover graphic. It's those 3 turnovers that have kept Wyoming down in this game.
For Wyoming, 8 possessions so far, 4 punts, 3 turnovers, and 1 missed field goal, as Chambers keeps it himself, and Tyson Maeva, David Perales there on the staff.
If you're the Wyoming team, Tim Polasek, the offensive coordinator, what do you do here? Coach Bowl looking on. You've had a lot of trouble every time you drop Chambers back to throw the ball. He's thrown 2 picks. You wanted to establish a run game in this game. Is it too late just to keep it on the ground? You need points at this point. So they're in a real conundrum offensively with play calling.
Keeping it on the ground here and trying to squirt ahead close to the first down is Titus Swen. You say conundrum. My mom used to say pickle.
That's
Find themselves in a pickle here.
Basically what it is. As they are trying to find the right personnel groupings. There's Coach Polasek, the offensive coordinator. Also coaches the O-line a little bit before he took over as the quarterback coach.
First year at Wyoming after 4 years in Iowa coaching the offensive line. He was at NDSU, North Dakota State before that from 2014, 2016. And that was the wise play there with Big Sean Chambers just charging ahead to pick up the first down. Talk about Tim Pulisic. He was a logger while he was a volunteer assistant coach at Division III Wisconsin Stevens Point. Got a call from Craig Bowl saying, hey, we have a grad assistant job. And he goes, to be honest with you, Coach, I just popped open a beer here after my logging day.
Coming out of the forest.
Craig Bowl said, okay, I got my kind of guy here. And he was hired, and the rest is history.
Third quarter.
Fourth quarter coming up in Laramie. Cowboys trying to avoid getting bucked off by the Bulldogs here, down by 14 going into the final stanza. 14-0, 2 scores coming off turnovers for the Bulldogs.
And look at these scores, just 0-0-0 all the way through. And that leads to 0. No points in the last 5 quarters for the Cowboys. They have hit an offensive canyon.
Chambers taking a shot, broken up at the last minute, looking for Isaiah Nayor. Tremendous play by Elijah Gates, diving and breaking up the pass.
They've not been lulled to sleep in the secondary with all the run and all the stuff coming close to the line of scrimmage that Wyoming's been doing. When they take a shot, the Bulldogs have been ready. Elijah Gates, the transfer from UCLA, makes a diving play to keep Wyoming's offense on their heels still. And 2nd and 10 is not where they want to be. 1st and 2nd down are so big for them, and they have struggled.
Takes the handoff to Xavier Valadez. Completes the throw. No. Ball is down. Was looking for Alex Brown. He was right at the 50-yard line. Not able to hold on.
And one of the things that's been great about Fresno State's D today is that, you know, you're going to see the play fake here. And right off the play fake, Aaron Mosby is going to be right in the face coming down on Chambers. After a play fake like that, you want your quarterback to run free a little bit so he has a moment. That's why you do it, to get the ball out. But Coach Inge has got his guys champing at the bit. Every time Chambers drops back to pass, he has been harassed.
That's what he was worried about, being lulled to sleep in the back end by this offense that was going to run the ball more than they threw it. Again, Chambers off the mark, but we do have a flag down.
Intended for Eberhard.
No, we don't have a flag down.
No flag. He wanted the flag. He thought he got held out there on the edge. And another really well-called defensive series by William Inge, the D coordinator for Fresno State.
Inge in his 2nd year at Fresno State after 7 years at Indiana. Looked like the punter may have been run into there as he gets a nice bounce. And Fawaz having a conversation with the official right now. 14-0. Bulldogs on top of Wyoming. Tremendous quarterback tradition. David Carr, the #1 overall pick. Little brother Derek Carr, Pro Bowl quarterback for the Raiders. And how about this guy? Derek Carr throwing to Devontae Adams. Some greatness. Carr and the Raiders adjusting to an interim head coach, Devontae Adams. Great success under Matt LaFleur, and Aaron Rodgers, his quarterback, Hayner. Zipping it out of bounds. 2nd and 10 going to be coming up.
Saw those numbers that Hayner's put up today, not Carr-esque. Not Adams-esque and not Hainer-esque. This has not been the personality of the Fresno State offense this year. You look at those passing yards compared to what even Wyoming has put up, and it's almost like you feel like you're looking at a typo, but they do have the lead. They've not made mistakes, and they've capitalized on the Cowboys' mistakes.
Keeping it on the ground here. You're talking about Jake Hainer, a guy that threw for 455 yards in that upset at the Rose Bowl against UCLA. And here today in Laramie, just 81 passing yards for Jake Hainer.
Coach DeBoer told us he's got to have Gator skin, and he does. He's very resilient physically and mentally. He's kept this team in the game. Not explosive numbers, but they are winning, and they're not making mistakes or turning the ball over.
On 3rd and 6, Hainer to throw again. This time over the middle, Zane Pope wide open, and I believe he gets the first down there with forward progress as Easy Hearn on the stop for the Cowboys.
Zane Pope from Moore Park High School in Moore Park, California. Same place as Drake London, the great USC receiver who's up for the Biletnikoff this year. He's their savvy kind of utility guy that finds spots in the zone, and that was certainly one of those plays.
1st and 10 now from the 29. Rivers ahead for a gain of a few. Slow to get up here. This needs a little bit of help. And Bula Schmidt just fine. Still limping a little bit.
Got to have your center if you want to run the play.
That is important. Oh! Able to keep his feet is Ronnie Rivers. And then blasting in, I believe it was Cole Goodbow. Defensively, they're lucky that that play wasn't blown up.
Look at how this thing goes, just flying into the backfield. And the ball is sort of suspended throughout that time just because of the aggressive rush. Rivers kind of swerves his way forward. It creates a 3rd and 2.
Here comes Wyoming. Cropper not going anywhere. That Wyoming defense bringing the heat. Easton Gibbs among those there, and they brought more than just 4. They wanted to be able to provide pressure with 4, but on that situation, they brought the house.
And Fresno with an interesting call, trying to get to the edge there in a short yardage situation and losing yardage against the Wyoming team, who really set the edge well and ran to the sideline to make the play. I thought they'd just attack him with Rivers in gap.
Carson King from his own 25-yard line. And the ball bounce it out of bounds around the 25. 14-0. Bulldogs on top. 11:27 to go here in the ballgame. Welcome back to Laramie, and you don't see that every day. That is quality flow growing off his face. What do you call that? What kind of, is that a stash?
Mustache with a double waterfall.
That is a double waterfall. That is strong. Cowboys picked off. It's another turnover. And Evan Williams, after making some great plays, the leading tackler stopping the run, getting the pick for the Bulldogs.
Well, that's how frustrating of a day it's been for the Wyoming offense, particularly throwing the ball here. Sean Chambers just has it ripped right out of the hands by Evan Williams, who's had a heck of a day. 6 tackles for him, and he just comes right up underneath that and snatches it out of the sky in front of Parker Christensen. And he has had one heck of a game, along with Lavelle Bailey with the tip on the last pick and 5 tackles for him. They have been wildly productive with that Fresno defense, and they've been the star of this game, not the Fresno offense, which is what you would have expected.
4 turnovers for Wyoming today. Hayner with all kinds of time. And he just chucks it out of the shaded corner of the end zone. And there you can only look at Sean Chambers and feel for him. It has not been a great day. 3 interceptions for Chambers, 4 turnovers by this Wyoming offense. And Fresno State has yet to turn it over once again in fine field position on the Wyoming 27, looking at 2nd and 10. Rivers met at the line of scrimmage by Victor Jones.
Good physical tackle there by Victor Jones, but Rivers with a nice little run too, 2 yards. When a guy standing right at the line of scrimmage, big as Victor Jones, is not a bad thing. We thought he was going to have more of an impact on this game with his pass rush, but the only time the Fresno offense has really been able to make a lot of hay is when they've gotten a turnover in this plus territory, and they've taken advantage of every time, almost.
Empty set on 3rd and 7. Pressure coming on Hayner. That one's tipped. Lucky it wasn't picked. Big old 91. Jalen Pate getting a hand on it. So 4th and 7 coming up. Fresno State going to have to settle for the field goal after they had the interception. And we're in fine field position. Cesar Silva on to attempt the 41-yard field goal. From the right hash, this one curving and in. So the field goal is good. 17-0. Fresno State on top. Every single point on the board today a result of a Wyoming turnover. Fresno State coming into Laramie, Wyoming with the #1 scoring offense in the Mountain West. But Petros, today it has been all about the defense. First 6 games of the season, 1 interception. Today, 3 picks. And how about those defensive numbers?
Look at them. I mean, they've turned Wyoming over on 40% of their possessions. 10 drives and 4 turnovers. That's not an easy thing to do at War Memorial Stadium. In this elevation, come on.
Out past the 20-yard line is Wyatt Whelan. And Wyoming again going to try to get something going here. In terms of time of possession, it's almost identical. Wyoming has been holding on to the football. They just haven't really been able to get those big chunk plays they've been looking for. And obviously turnovers, 4 of them so far through 3.5 quarters, has crushed them.
It has, and so much so that they've made a quarterback change. Levi Williams is in the game for Sean Chambers after all those picks. Coach Bowl has decided to make a change.
Levi Williams from Canyon Lake, Texas. Smithson Valley.
Played a lot. I mean, he's had a lot of experience. Chambers went down very early last year. Levi played majority of the season. 6'5", 224 pounds, a strong runner. And a pretty big arm.
Started 5-6 games last year for Wyoming after Chambers went down on the 3rd play of the season. 2nd and 3. The give to Eberhardt, and he's not going to get there. So 3rd and short coming up. Nice play by Elijah Gates.
We've seen Elijah Gates make some really good plays. We've talked about Lavelle Bailey. Evan Williams leads the team in tackles with 6 and has the 2 picks. He's been probably their defensive MVP, but they've had bright spots on every level of the defense. They started out with the front, and then the linebackers and secondary started to express themselves.
Williams, deep, has a man, has to go down to get it, and they're ruling it incomplete, saying the ball hit the ground. Nayor frustrated, thought he had it. Elijah Gates was the man there in coverage. take another look at this, Petros.
Well, he had to stop and kind of curve back into it, and there you see him making the catch. It's hard to tell what his knee is or where the ball is in the shadows there. He had to turn around the opposite shoulder, so that's what made it so difficult to locate the ball. And
looks like a catch to me. It's hard to tell from the camera angle if the ball hit the ground. But keep in mind, they've ruled it a no catch on the field, so it's going to take a substantial piece of video evidence to overturn the call.
The shots look good. It's just the shadows there make it pretty hard to decipher if the ball's hitting the ground there.
Let's bring in our rules expert, Mike Pereira. Mike, this was a tough one to kind of see if the ball hit the ground or not. What could you see here?
Well, remember what you said now. They ruled incomplete on the field. So it looks like he might have his hands on underneath it, but then when you roll over, the ball disappears. You can't really see. So, again, you look here. Does it get to the ground? Nothing on that shot tells you conclusively. So, again, they're going to have to be clear. It's got to be clear and obvious to overturn this. I just don't see it based on the shots we have. Looks like he might, but now the ball goes out of the picture. So I don't think they can. But according to the Hansons now in Casper, Wyoming, with my producer, Travis Hansen here, my tie is straighter this time, and I say they probably stay incomplete.
Tie's always straight.
I said it wasn't straight, Petros.
Mike, you always look, you're the sharpest guy in the building. You can't take that.
I felt bad about that, so I had to let them know I
Don't be
corrected.
insecure. You look great.
He always looks great. I didn't even notice the crooked tie. I mean, he's such a handsome man.
wasn't
I'm always
crooked.
looking right in his eyes.
You know, it's been fun watching this game in Wyoming, by the way, which I told you, Dan. That's where I got my chance to get in the NFL, right there on this field, when they came and was scouting another official, and they saw me and thought I looked decent for some reason. The next year I got in the league. Can you believe that?
The elevation did well by you.
Wyoming Cowboys.
Near and dear to the heart of Mike Pereira, War Memorial Stadium. How about that? They came to scout another official. He was the head referee.
That's how they found Aaron Rodgers.
It's
they went to look, Jeff Tedford went to look at Butte College at a tight end named Aaron Cross, or Garrett Cross, I think, and a guy ended up becoming an Army Ranger or something. And he said, I like this guy throwing him the ball. And it was Aaron Rodgers. The guy was at a JC. That's how the greatest official ever was discovered, Mike Pereira, on a day in Laramie, just like today.
And you can say that because our other rules expert was not an official.
Of an incomplete pass stands as called.
All right, so it stands as we thought. Dean Blandino was excellent as well. He just kind of ran it. Mike Pereira, discovered in Laramie and was right once again. So no catch on the field.
It's biblical, you know. It's like Pereira begets Blandino. It's very Old Testament.
That is. I knew you were going to bring the Bible into this game at some point. So they're going to go for it on 4th and 2. Wyoming from their own 31, timeout called. And at this point in the game, with
timeout, Fresno State. It's the first timeout of the half.
All right, so timeout Fresno. At this point in the game, what do you have to lose, right? You're down 17-0. You have a backup quarterback in the ball game.
Yeah, it's interesting because the score is not as insurmountable as it feels. It feels insurmountable because Wyoming's done nothing offensively other than turn the ball over and fall victim to some pretty good Fresno State defense throughout the afternoon. So Coach Bowl, maybe they have a chance to come back in this game with some sudden changes. We've seen much stranger things in college football, but it starts with this play and this call right now. Whenever Fresno's gotten the ball in plus territory off of turnovers, and this would be a turnover on downs, they've had success.
Levi Williams again in at quarterback in relief of Sean Chambers. Williams throws over the middle, incomplete. And that will be a turnover on downs. He was looking for Parker Christensen off his hands. And Levi might have put a little too much sauce on that, but there were a couple of Fresno defenders there as well.
Coach Inch loves it. Out to the numbers to greet his team back on the field. And Wyoming just kind of lost their way offensively in this game. Maybe it was the turnovers. maybe it was just the physicality that the Bulldogs brought that the Cowboys weren't expecting, but they have not been themselves at all offensively. They've gotten completely away from their game.
4 turnovers and now a turnover on downs. A little Ronnie Rivers jump cut. He picks up 7. And Fresno State once again threatening just outside of the 20-yard line after the Chad Muma tackle.
Yeah, Muma stays with him, but not before a really graceful cut on the edge. That's the 10th tackle for Muma. He leads the team, and you could expect that. They haven't played terrible defensively today. Just no support from the other side.
Ronnie Rivers again in at running back. 2 wide receivers to the top of your screen. Rivers falls ahead, going to be close to picking up the first down.
You would say that the Bulldogs have not established really anything offensively in this game, but they've kept Rivers going. They've kept putting the ball in his hands in every quarter, and that's why you do that, because here in the fourth quarter where you want to run some clock, you can't.
Keeping it on the ground again. Cole Goodbow on the tackle. 4th down coming up. And 4th and 1, it does not appear they are bringing the field goal unit on just yet.
They feel so good about the way they've been playing defense. They're up 3 scores here.
They just had the ball gifted to them on the 31.
Yeah. They're going to call a timeout and talk it over.
What do you do here?
I'd go for it. I'd get a push. I think you've been running and discouraging them enough to hold the ball and kind of end the game.
Well, Kalen DeBoer going to decide, and we'll let you know in just a minute. $17-0. Fresno State pitching the shutout on the road at War Memorial Stadium at elevation 7,000 plus feet, and they're going to go for it on 4th and 1. Why not?
Yeah, what's the difference between 17 and 20? I know the difference, but as far as the game goes here, with the amount of time left and how well the Bulldogs have been playing defensively, why not?
Ronnie Rivers in at running back. He gets the carry, tries to spin off the tackle, and he's not going to get there. The Wyoming defense giving their offense a chance.
And they've done it throughout the afternoon. This was Easton Gibbs, the linebacker, who got into the backfield and got the first hit along with Muma, who was really the guy that was there, to force Rivers wide and not make that play.
So Levi Williams back in at quarterback for the second series in relief of Sean Chambers, who has 3 interceptions on the day. And with just over 7 minutes to go, you got to make something happen here. That's not it. They pick up the ball. Looked like an incomplete pass. No ruling on the field just yet.
Incomplete.
Okay, ruling on the field, forward pass, incomplete, so there you have it.
Didn't hear a whistle, and it didn't seem like anybody else on the field heard a whistle. So, that's what you do when there's a live ball. Pick it up and get to work. Player safety is an issue. That's why you hear the whistle. It was Pate who picked it up, and yeah, there's no reason that the whistle should not have been blown after Williams delivered that pass.
Thrown on 2nd and 10. Williams taking another deep shot. Isaiah Nayor had a step on Deron Bland, but Williams overthrows him by a couple yards.
You wonder why this game feels so out of reach. This is the 12th drive so far for the Pokes. The longest one with plays and yards was 9 plays, 71 yards, and that ended with an interception. They just have not moved the ball consistently in this game at all. When they look at the tape of this game, they're going to be confounded to find anything super positive.
Williams steps up, throws, completes this one. It's Eberhardt breaking a tackle, making a nice cut, trying to get into positive territory, and he does to the Fresno State 45. A huge play for this Wyoming offense. Exactly what they needed at this point in the game.
They need a lot. This is a start. We've seen a lot of that from Sean Chambers, trying to create, push up in the pocket, and deliver the ball to not a lot of success. This time, Levi Williams is able to do it, get it to Eberhardt, and he does create down the field. Wyoming is outgaining Fresno State.
32-yard gain for Eberhardt. And again, it looked like he got hit as he was throwing. It's the second time in 3 plays pressure has gotten to Levi Williams.
Yeah, on short drops, Fresno State has just been all over the Cowboys' passing game. Not a lot of moments of reflection for anybody in that pocket tonight, whether it's Chambers or Levi Williams.
No, I know he won't.
2nd and 10 from the Fresno State 46. Keeping it on the ground with Titus Swen. Swen inside the 30. Plowing his way down to the 25. Just over 6 minutes to go here in the ballgame.
Out to the right edge. Big rush from Perales, leaves a hole. And Swen kind of rears up like a horse and then bucks his head down.
20-yard gain by Swen after the 32-yard pickup by Eberhardt. Going into the end zone, broken up. Isaiah Nayor, there is a flag down. It's who they were looking for. And it was LJ Early in coverage. Let's see if that's who they call the penalty on.
Not a great name for a cover guy if he got there early. Bland was in the area as well.
Pass interference, number 27, defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic, first down.
That indeed was LJ Early. Here's another look in the shadows.
Nayor, they've tried to get a lot of 50-50 balls to him. Early's head didn't really turn around much. Yeah, he never really turned his head, but it seemed like he was making a whole bunch of contact.
Ball on the 13. And the ball's picked off again. It was tipped and then caught by Early right after the penalty. The 4th interception of the game for the Fresno State defense. Here's another look.
Whether it's Chambers or Williams, it's been the same issue. That ball just mistimed there by Eberhardt. Should have had the catch. He mistimed his jump, which is part of the reason I think that he was not able to come down with it.
It also looked again like the ball either slipped out of Levi Williams' hands or it was hit as he was throwing. It didn't come out clean.
And Early, after the penalty, like you said, comes up with a beautiful gift interception. And again, Wyoming gaining yardage, unable to convert. And that has been the difference in this game. The mistakes Wyoming has made and Fresno's ability to take advantage of it. It hasn't been because Fresno's lighting the world on fire offensively, I can tell you that.
Well, Fresno State with 88 passing yards. As you look at backup quarterback Levi Williams checking into the game for Sean Chambers. The two have now combined for 4 interceptions. And as one might expect, Fresno State content to keep this on the ground. Here's another look.
All right, Levi's releasing it here, and it just looked like he tried to take something off of it at the last second because of is that Mosby jumping up to knock it back? And because of that, it mixed up the timing. He's supposed to have a very good rapport with Eberhardt. All these quarterbacks are.
Yeah, came out like a knuckleball. Rivers around the left side, going to be about 2 yards shy of picking up the first down. Ball did pop out, but it looked like Rivers was down. He certainly does not seem to be exuding any sense of urgency after the ball popped out. So 3rd and 3 coming up for the Bulldogs.
And offensively, they just have not been what you would expect Fresno State to be. However, they've not made mistakes. They've not turned the ball over. Rivers almost always hands the ball to the official every time he gets tackled. Hayner has not thrown the interceptions that we've seen earlier this year. Pretty good.
Timeout called by Fresno State. Hey, you go to Wyoming, which is not an easy place to
has used the
play.
last timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
Pitch a shutout, even if it doesn't have your normal stamp on it, you know, in terms of your offense putting up big numbers. You have to be happy if you could leave here with this score.
Well, I'm sure Coach DeBoer would have told you they would have loved to have been able to finish the Hawaii game this way instead of having things go sideways down the stretch like it did. You don't always want to just look at the stat sheet and see 500 yards passing. Sometimes you lose a game by a point or two that way. They've done everything they've needed to do to secure this victory thus far, and they've been playing within themselves doing so. I know that you expect a certain style of offense with Hayner as quarterback, with what we've seen, and Jalen Cropper's performance throughout the year, and Ronnie Rivers as well, but you get your style points at home in the Valley. Out here in Laramie, get a victory and get out of there.
Well, to get a victory in this way, the last time Wyoming was shut out was in 2010 against an Andy Dalton-led TCU team. So it's been a minute. Flag down here on 3rd down.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Delay of game out of a timeout. One of the reasons Kalen DeBoer has that look on his face. You don't like seeing a head coach with that look on his face.
No, not something you like to see. And whether it was Hayner not communicating with the officials or nobody looking up at the clock or really knowing when that clock started, that is a logistical error.
3rd and 8. Pass is complete. Fighting to get to the marker, Ronnie Rivers. Couldn't quite tell if he got there or not. And it does look like a 1st down for Fresno. Big 1st down pickup. Way to fight for Ronnie Rivers.
Fresno just wants to finish this game offensively and just kind of grind it out with the way they've been doing it. And they have the right back in the game, a guy who's done a lot of things for them. Now Jordan Mims in. But Rivers, a very great weapon. You can throw the ball to that guy late.
Here's Mims with some room on the left side, and he falls ahead to the 38. And they're just going to chew up as much clock as they can.
They're in the 4-minute drill mode, which is probably why Mims didn't have his head up on that play and try to recover that and take it to the house. He was falling forward going through the contact zone and just finished with the ball security, both arms over the ball.
Let that play clock wind down. You want to be inside 5 seconds. Every snap the rest of the way. 2nd and 2. Right up the middle, Caleb Robinson, big nose tackle on the tackle for Wyoming. And Mims picks up another 1st down.
And it's not a bad thing for a football team to go different places and win a game in a different way. Certainly the Fresno State defense is going to be on the plane feeling like they're the heroes. Usually the offensive side of the ball is what people have been talking about, especially this year with this particular quarterback. But defensively, they were able to carry the day.
Again, letting that play clock wind down, keeping it on the ground. Anytime you can force a team into 4 turnovers and score on 3 of those, as we take a look at the Fresno State schedule coming up. Nevada up next, then the only ranked team in the Mountain West currently, San Diego State. after that, and then Boise. So that's not an easy next
tough.
3.
It is tough, and it's going to be tough in the Mountain West this year for everybody because the conference is a lot stronger than some people thought. Think about Caleb DeBoer and the history of Fresno State, guys like Sweeney, Coach Sweeney, the great Pat Hill. I just feel like he's a great fit, that anytime, anywhere we want to play in the parking lot mentality, these guys have it.
Direct snap to Jordan Mims. He picks up 9, and we're going to call a penalty on this one. DeBoer, of course, in his second season as the head coach at Fresno, but he was here in 17-18 as the offensive coordinator for Fresno, so he's very familiar with a lot of these guys, including Ronnie Rivers and Jordan Mims. They've been regulars since 2017, actually beat out a returning 1,000-yard rusher. He said they were so mature at the time.
And the horse collar tackle there, and Coach DeBoer is a Tedford disciple, and that's where he came to understand the significance of Fresno State football through Coach Tedford, and it's really a beautiful fit. And you think about a guy like this coming from a different part of the country, you know, you never know where you're going to fit in as a head football coach, but it seems like he's found a niche in the San Joaquin Valley.
And with 1:08 to go in the game, they are content to take a knee these next couple of plays. And Fresno State coming here to Laramie, to one of the tougher places to play. And how about this? Their last shutout on the road, 1974.
Told you the defense is going to be feeling it on the plane.
Gas was 53 cents a gallon, the most popular TV show, All in the Family. Gerald Ford was president.
Big baller himself.
More than 17,000 days ago. That is incredible.
And it's something that Coach DeBoer can hang his hat on with his football team as a complimentary win. William Inge, the D coordinator, they did a great job on that side of the ball. Handed the offense multiple opportunities to win the game, and that's exactly what they did. Coach Bowl is going to be back to the drawing board after facing Air Force, the best rushing team in the country, and losing. And now Fresno State coming into this game, one of the best passing teams in the country, and losing. But that's not why Wyoming lost. They didn't get the ball thrown over their head, did they?
No, they did not. Just 96 passing yards. So Haener has yet to hit the 100-yard mark.
That's remarkable.
He had 5 300-yard passing games coming in. One of the leading passers in the nation, top 5 in passing yards, top 5 in passing touchdowns. And Wyoming taking another timeout here, so they've taken 2 here all of a sudden. As we look ahead for Wyoming, we talked about this maybe being an elimination game in terms of hoping to move ahead for the conference championship, and this is who Wyoming has coming up: New Mexico, San Jose State, and Colorado State. And then they have that tough game at Boise State and Utah State to wrap things up.
New Mexico's been struggling a little bit, so is San Jose State, but Wyoming now seems to be having an identity crisis in this game. They just could not do anything that they normally do defensively. I think they're going to be okay with the way they played, but who's going to be the quarterback going forward, and what direction is the play calling going to be going in?
On 3rd and 9, keeping it on the ground with Mims. And that is going to be a big question mark for Wyoming moving forward. You go into this week with uncertainty at the quarterback position. And all of a sudden, after a 4-0 start, the best start the Craig Bull era at Wyoming, you've now lost 2 straight to Air Force and Fresno State. And you lose this one at home, where you have gone 23-7 since 2016.
Yeah, it's really the Bulldog defense that's been the story of this game, because Coach Bull, I think, thought they were going to be able to bully them off the ball and really run the ball and push them back, and it never happened. Fresno State was up for the challenge all 4 quarters.
Jordan Mims, 4 seconds left on the clock. The Fresno State defense, again, forcing those 4 turnovers, has just been outstanding. The entire coaching staff on the defensive side of the ball under William Inge, Julius Brown, Chuck Morrell, Jim Nelson, Eric Schmidt, J.D. Williams all have to be pleased with the way that their guys played today.
Absolutely. And Fresno State, after the loss to Hawaii, had to do some looking in the mirror. Knew they had another tough trip to take. Very different style of team, very different style of place. They can check that box.
And that'll do it as Fresno State improves to 5-2 on the season, ranked in the top 25 before going to Hawaii. A disappointing loss. Have some time to regroup. Their quarterback gets healthy, but the story in this one, not about their quarterback, it was about their defense. Forcing Wyoming into 4 turnovers, their first shutout win since 1974 on the road, nonetheless. First shutout win on the road since 1974, 17-0. The final here in Laramie. Certainly those Wyoming fans here at War Memorial not going home too pleased. This is not what they expected to see, but Fresno State coming in and doing the job, pitching the shutout. And then it is Nevada at home, a homecoming game in which Lorenzo Neal's 22 will be retired.
Let's go.
On homecoming. I'm ready. Petros is ready. See you next week, everybody.